John Duggan, good morning to you. How are you? Nice hat.
Great, Ger and Shane. Good morning to yourselves.
How was yesterday?
Yeah, good fun. Met Robbie.
Spurs. I'd say you were drooling as a Spurs fan, John.
I met Robbie many times, so it's just funny. I heard Robbie Keane's presenting the trophy of the winners' enclosure. I said, what? And then I said, okay, we got to do a doorstep here. And the thing about a doorstep, which I was far too shy to do in my younger years, is that you have to get in a situation where it's, give me the interview, but also not do that, because then you'll annoy them. But you have to get, you have to just kind of, it's like a sheepdog trot or something. You just have to give, please give me, yeah. And then they agree, and then you have to stop them moving around, and then, so you have to be polite, obviously, which I'm a polite person, but you also have to be forthright, because you can't fail. If Robbie Keane had walked past me, I would have failed. So we didn't fail.
You're a bit like Martin Brundle in the pit lane.
Yes, I haven't seen the Conor Moore sketch. Apparently, he's very good. Yeah, and that's maybe one of my aspirations. So.
Do you have anyone else lined up, John? I'm sure there's famous faces walking around.
It's like, to be honest, like, obviously the priority is to get the horse racing people here, but Harry Redknapp's got a horse today, so might see if I can bump into him.
We did feel a little bit unusual. So it was Camilla Parker Bowles, Robbie Keane, Katie Walsh, and a few others handing over the trophy.
What a melting pot! I didn't see the Queen Consort, I have to say, but you do get a melting pot of everybody here at Cheltenham.
Yeah,
that's the great thing about it.
To the racing yesterday.
Yes.
Willie Mullins and Paul Townend, they know what they're doing. They are very good. They have some good horses.
They do, and they have now 92 winners for Willie and 26 for Paul at the Cheltenham Festival. It's just silly, really. It's almost, you kind of take it for granted because it's so excellent and it's so professional and it's so consistent. And Energyman won the champion chase by 10 lengths. Paul Townend came off the horse after the race, said it was easy. It's so good it almost becomes a little bit boring when you see the story later in the day, you know.
Willie Mullins at Cheltenham is like Erling Haaland in the Champions League. It's a bit of a piss take. Like, every win you're just like, again. But because he's Irish, we're celebrating and loving it.
Well, for a long time, Willie Mullins would have only had a handful of winners at Cheltenham. Like, his first Cheltenham winner was 28 years ago in Tourist Attraction 1995. So it took him a long time to get up to the position where he's like having the arsenal he has now. And he's already had 4 winners. He had 10 last year, and it's 10-4 and halfway to the Irish.
Let's hear from Willie Mullins. You were chatting to him yesterday. Let's have a listen to him.
Yeah, it hasn't been our luckiest race over the years, but we broke through last year. Now we have 2, so much happier.
Talk to us about the race and how you saw it.
Well, I didn't see what way it was going to happen. Paul came out and told me he was going to jump off up there. He wanted to be near the pace, which he was. And he thought that actually there wouldn't be a lot of depth in the race, that everyone was going to just... everyone wanted to be up there, and he thought, well, he was on the best horse, he wanted to be there and just keep jumping, have a clear look at all these fences, which he did. He jumped spectacularly, loved the ground. All the rain that came was just fantastic for him. So, you know, things couldn't have gone better.
You didn't feel like last time was his true running, maybe?
I knew last time wasn't his true running, you know, it's not him.
And the rest of the week's gone really well. Garda Neil, El Fabiolo, and a lot to look forward to as well.
Yes, we've Grand Annual Chase now and then the bumper, and we've a lot of nice chances later on in the week, but it's a tough place to win. You know, we've had plenty of good chances that got beaten here, so that's the way it is. We've been going, we're happy.
How you feeling about Galopin des Champs on Friday?
Everything is going well, and we're very happy at how the preparation has gone, and this rain I think is no harm.
No issue with the trip and the jumping, and you're confident?
Yeah, he won a 3-mile hurdle as a novice. I think he'll stay the trip. We're very, very happy.
All right, yeah, so that is as happy as Willie Mullins gets. That is him being excessively happy.
It's a pressurized week, and there's a touch of me which make sure you don't ask a silly question here, because you might get a one-word answer. But Willie's a gentleman, and when he's more relaxed, I went down to the yard there about 6 months ago, or 9 months ago, about last July. And he's great when he's not in a pressure situation where, because it just happens so quickly. It's every half an hour there's another race, and by the time it takes about 15 to 20 minutes to do a presentation, and by that time the horses are going all around the parade ring, and you got to talk to the new connections.
It's funny, he's talking about Galopin des Champs there. A lot of Cheltenham punters will have nightmares thinking about Galopin de Champs last year in the novices chase.
Yes.
Falling at the last. But Willie very confident about his chances in the Gold Cup on Friday.
Well, it's Patrick's day, and look, he's a really, really talented animal. He's a really good jumper. Willie's very confident that he'll get to 3.25 miles because he won over 3 miles as a hurdle horse at Punchestown. He's won at the festival before. He won the John Durkin Chase before Christmas, and he won the Irish Gold Cup there recently. So he's the most talented horse in the race. It doesn't mean you win the Gold Cup because he can be a little bit exuberant. But I think what is, if you're a fan of his, you'd be pleased to see that Paul Tennant has got a more relaxed this season. I think he's got a big chance.
To briefly touch on Energumene,
yes,
however the pronunciation is. It's interesting you brought up the word pressure in the aftermath of that, because here is a horse where the expectation is that if everything goes well, but I thought it was really interesting. He was like, yeah, Paul Tennant told me what we were going to do. You know, their relationship is so symbiotic, so deeply embedded. The trust is at such a high level because you're dealing with a world-class practitioner. That when Paul Tennant says this is the plan, this is the plan.
Yeah, that's trust. You trust in your employee and your jockey. There's a partnership element around it. Now, Willie Mullins isn't shy of. I remember reading about him telling Ruby Walsh, that wasn't your finest hour, was it? But he has the trust in the jockey to make the mistake. So he hammered Paul Tennant publicly for riding against Facile Vega there at Leopardstown. Paul went off way too quick, but he gets it right 99% of the time. So there's an honesty there, but there's also trust in the person to get the job done. And I think there's got to be an acceptance in this crazy game where the horse is going 30 miles an hour. There's a lot of traffic. There's a lot of obstacles to be jumped. You're dealing with an animal that has their own mind. That if you can get it right 8-9 times out of 10, then that's okay. If you're only getting it right 5 times out of 10, maybe that becomes an issue.
I have a couple of board games at home, John, that says fun for ages 18 to 85, and Cheltenham turns out is the exact same. Yeah, John Gleeson. Yesterday, Leaving Cert student, I was listening to your chat with him as well. Fascinating, like his first ever ride on a Dream to Share, and he wins. And then John Kiley, the owner, 85 from Dungarvan. It's quite a story.
Yeah, training.
Yeah.
I know, Shane, you're probably on the moon when you were 18 because you're a very progressive person in terms of your, getting all these brilliant interviews with all these Apollo astronauts and everything. You do a very progressive time in your life when you were a teenager. For myself, I was an utter square who did nothing until I got into the first day of college, and then my life started. I don't know about Jared. I don't speak for Jared there, but
he was in Trinity. Yeah, he was prepping for trainers.
I wouldn't pedal because it's my birthday.
But I know you're a spaceman, Shane. Yeah. And look, what a story this is. I met Brian Gleeson. We all know Brian Gleeson from the TV. He's really popular, really a Boolean kind of character doing the betting on RTE, TV, and ITV. So he's John's dad. They bred the horse at home. They won at Leopardstown, and then JB McManus bought the horse, A Dream to Share. What an apt name. I met Brian yesterday morning, and went up to said, look, the best of luck, Brian. And he goes, sure, look. He was, I don't think he wanted to believe that it actually could happen. He was trying to play down the chances of the ground. It was too soft and this. And I just said, look, we just agree that, look, hope that the young kid enjoys it and everything comes back with a great experience. But for him to actually win it, and win it with such a brilliant ride that he tracked Patrick Mullins in the slipstream and that he took the inside track and then he won the bumper. It is a fairy tale story, like doing your leave in the summer, first ride at Cheltenham. You can't make it up, really. You can't make it up.
No, it's like, I can only imagine what the rest of how do you go back to
the school on Monday,
like English paper 1 or my accountancy exam. I'm like, the matching principle in accounting means that I'm like, no, I just want to tell them. It's pretty impressive.
He's the Shane O'Donnell of horse racing.
There you go. So today, what are we looking at?
We're looking at 7 races, another very strong Irish hand. 10-4 is the tally at the moment. I think it's an embarrassment, to be honest, at this stage for the home contingent. They need to look at something. They need to look, because this is like a trend now that's 7-8 years in the making. They need to look at something in terms of investment in the sport, investment in owners, investment in prize money, investment in more competitive races here. The Stairs Hurdles, the feature of half 3. So you have Florian Porter, the lads in the hurling pods, James Scahill, and that big syndicate out west. They've won the race 2 years in a row. A carpet chop in a pub. A great story, Gavin Cromwell. The horse hasn't been in the best form of the season, Florian Porter, but he goes there with a chance, obviously, of winning a hat-trick. Classical Dream, trained by Willie Mullins, ridden by Paul Tennant. This horse has got a squeak. Was second by Tiapu in the Hatton's Grace Hurdle, and they finished ahead of Honeysuckle. Classical Dream needs to be fresh. He's a quirky type, but hasn't run since then, so he's got a chance. Giupu, as I said, is the favourite. Gordon Elliott will train this one. Davy Russell will ride out of retirement, as we know. The horse will love the ground. Soft ground here. It's been raining for the back end of yesterday, and probably going to rain again today. 3-mile trip, soft ground. There's a horse called Gold Tweet from France that I like. Joseph O'Brien's got a home by the Lee, so it's a very competitive race, the Stayers Hurdle. The other one that we're looking at is the Ryanair Chase at 250, the race before that. Shishkin beat an Urgeman last season, has been in and out of form, but did win on his last start at Ascot. Goes up in trip now to 2.5 miles at Cheltenham, and Shishkin has the likes of Blue Lord and Janadil to face. So they're the couple of the big races, a lot of handicap races, a lot of big fields, and always a difficult day, I find, Thursday, to work out the puzzle.
Okay, and on that note, what are your charity bets for today?
Okay, let's go through them. Thank you to Ball Sports for putting up the cash. We're up 7% after 2 days. A winner, a second and a third yesterday, but a lot of duds as well. But we're just ahead, and hopefully by tomorrow evening we will be ahead as well. So what I'm going to do is go for Blue Lord each way in the 250. He's my nap of the day, 25 each way at 11-2. I think Blue Lord is rock solid. I think Shishkin has got sometimes questions to answer. And I think Blue Lord's a good jumper. I think the step up and trip will help him. He won really well at Leopardstown at Christmas. I think he's a very solid prospect of getting into the frame, Blue Lord. Kind of a conservative nap bet, but 25 each way, Blue Lord 11-2. Maxim is in the 210 for Gordon Elliott. This horse bolted in, I was going to say something more rude, at Christmas at Leopardstown, and like soft ground, I think will help him. 15 each way on him at 5-1 in the Per Towns handicap hurdle over 3 miles. Gold Tweet, the French Raider, I'm going to give it to him a chance at 10-1 in the Stayers Hurdle, 15 each way, won over the course and distance last time on the conditions, and I think if he improves, he can maybe trouble the Irish horses. I think he could be the fly in the ointment, Gold Tweet. Midnight River, Dan Skelton, Harry Skelton had a winner yesterday. They fancy this horse. He's 15-2 Midnight River in the late Festival Place 2.5 mile chase. That's a 4:10. Jessica Harrington sends over to Tara, related to a former champion hurdle winner, Jetski, in a Maris Novice Hurdle. She's 22-1, 15 each way on her. That's in the 450. And 5:30, obviously you describe yourself, Ger and Shane, as Mr. Incredible. 11-2, 15 each way. When I did that Willie Mullins stable tour back in July, Patrick Mullins told me he'd never won the Kimure amateur chase at the festival. He's won some of the other amateur races, like the Bumper. He's won the amateur novices chase, but he's never won the Kimure chase. So it's a real big family ambition for the Mullins family to win this race. They've got a live contender in Mr. Incredible, who was second at Warwick last time out. He'll get the trip. And Willie Mullins has been talking about this horse in Grand National terms. So he's 11-2 each way. I think he'll have a definitely good each way chance. So Mr. Incredible, Jatara, Midnight River, Gold Tweet, Maxim, and the each way nap, Blue Lord. We'll put these up on offtheball.com later.
John, good stuff. Happy punting today, and thanks a million for joining us. Cheers.
Ger, Shane, enjoy Patrick's Day.
That was John Duggan live from Cheltenham.